March 29th, Vince Russo is coming to Memphis Wrestling. Saturday, April 11th, Memphis Wrestling is headed to Little Rock for Arkansas Travelers Wrestling Night at Dickey Stevens Park. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Attention wrestling fans, do you want to watch every WWE premium live event no matter where you are in the world? Well, I've got the ultimate tag team partner for you, Surfshark VPN. With Surfshark, you can unlock content from anywhere on the globe. What this means is no more block streams, no more restrictions, just wall-to-wall action. Imagine catching WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series live no matter what country you're in. And here's the best part. By using my affiliate link, which is tinyurl.com/ that's a backslash. It's VPN STS Talk. You'll also score an exclusive huge savings plus an extra 3 months absolutely free. That's right, 3 bonus months of unlimited access, total online privacy, and the power to stream every WWE pay-per-view like a true champion. And don't get counted out. Hit the link. It is tinyurl.com/ that's a backslash. It's VPN STS Talk. Go to that link and make sure you never miss a single second of the action again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step in the ring with pain relief. When back pain, neck pain, and stress tries to body slam you into the mat, there is only one tag team partner you can trust.
Vitality Chiropractic in Jonesboro and Newport, Arkansas. The champions of chiropractic care. With a dedicated team of professionals, they're not just adjusting spines, they're adjusting lives. Whether you're battling aches, pains, or just need to feel like a brand new you, Vitality Chiropractic has the moves to get you back on top of your game. Personalized care, effective treatments, and a commitment to your health and vitality.
You don't have to tap out to pain. Pick up the phone. Dial 870-523-2225. That is 870-523-2225, brother. And schedule your appointment today. Vitality Chiropractic serving Jonesboro and Newport. Step in the ring with pain and walk out a champion of health. Vitality Chiropractic, because your spine deserves the main event.
1, 2, 3. Number 57.
Wrestling fans, are you ready? Every Friday night in Osceola, Arkansas, MCW, the legacy continues. Live, hard-hitting, family-friendly wrestling action every Friday night at the MCW Arena, located at 1098 West Kaiser. Doors open at 6:30 and the action starts at 8 p.m. sharp. Don't miss your chance to see the stars of MCW battling out in the ring, rivals, drama, and slam-packed action. Here's what I want you to do. If you have any questions, I want you to search Facebook for Osceola's Mid-Southern Championship Wrestling. All ticket information, how to get your ticket, what time the show starts, everything right there on Facebook. All tickets are on sale right now. Be there!
I just want to tell people out there that, lately I've been angering a lot of people with my comments, which have been a little overboard, I might say. I've been ranting and raving. I've been a real...
Hey, just a quick reminder, subscribe for $5, $7, or $10 at www.patreon.com/Shooting the Shiznit without a G. That's right, Shooting the Shiznit without a G.
And it kind of warped me to where I...
This episode is also brought to you by Bear. Eat better, live better. These guys are the best meal prep company in Northeast Arkansas. So get 15% off with our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. That's 15% off. Use our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. Trust Bear for your meal prep needs in Northeast Arkansas. Eat better, live better. Bear.
Finally, McMahon laid his hand down and said, "Buddy, you're fired." What does this mean for the WWF?
Well, Jeff, Ultimate Warrior for a few years, he was one of the top stars. Only a second. But said justice. It's one of the
All right, folks, let's talk about something that can make everything feel a little smoother, a little better, and a whole lot more comfortable. If you're listening to STS Pod, you already know we believe in top-tier performance, and that doesn't stop when the mics go off. That's right. That's why we have been proudly sponsored for 7 years by SpunkLube.com. That's right, SpunkLube.com. Spunk Lube Hybrid is their best selling for a reason. Spunk Lube Hybrid is a unique water-based silicone blend that looks and feels like your body's natural lubrication. Translation, you get that skin-to-skin sensation without the sticky mess or constant re-application. Whether it's solo time or with a partner, or you're just upgrading your overall experience, Spunk Lube Hybrid has you covered. It's non-staining, made for sensitive skin, and cleans up easily because nobody wants extra work afterwards. Got toys, condoms, no problem. Spunk Lube Hybrid is fully compatible with sex toys, condoms, and more. And here's the good stuff. It's made in the USA, backed by 15 years of trust, and it ships discreetly as your business stays. Well, it stays your business. That's right. Right now, STS Pod listeners can get 10% off when you use the promo code STS Pod at checkout. That's STS Pod. STSPOD for 10% off Spunk Lube Hybrid. The best selling for a reason. Feel better, move better, enjoy more. Because friction, well, it's for bad podcasts, not for real life.
To give the sheets what we want, so to speak.
As long as his wrestlers can stay in character and stay in context, the wrestling being actions.
Yeah.
We can all help prevent suicide. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, and also prevention and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. Call 1-800-273-8255.
I've had enough of this WCW crap. I'm tired of complaining.
What happens when someone sends you a box of cassettes from the 1990s? You put them on as a podcast. Sit back and take a trip to the past for Cassette Wrestling News. Stone Cold Steve Austin called this the first ever podcast. These cassettes were mailed every issue to subscribers during the heyday of wrestling fans. Jeff Osborne, John Seaton sit down and put out an episode of the same fun and sometimes serious stuff. Get ready to dive 30 plus years into the past.
Before he gets to Steiner, Luger, and Sting, it's just a matter of time.
Well, you told me this, as a matter of fact, that certain WCW stars that are like Barry Windham, Bobby Eaton, and several others they're wanting to leave WCW because they're fed up with the stuff. And WWF would be the most logical point for them to depart to, because there they can make the money. It's like this. In WCW, they put a more market on your ability. In WWF, it's more on your charisma. They'll be turning some Looney Tuny cartoon characters, that's for sure. But at least they'll be making a decent living. I can't blame them. I really can't.
What gets me is Cactus Jack and Steve Austin get their big breaks, and a guy like Jim Herd and Dusty Rhodes screw it up for him. But you can't, like I said, you cannot point the finger at Dusty Rhodes. You can't point it at Jim Herd. Of course, you can stick the finger up to them, so to speak, but...
Jeff,
I'm
not
sorry.
necessary.
Okay. Well, the only person to point the finger at is Ted Turner, and I've talked this over with Reverend Mark, and Reverend Mark has told me, the Turner's accountants have got to be going, hey, Teddy, baby, you lost $6 million. What's going on here? But does Turner care? No, it's just a big tax write-off. And who suffers? The wrestling fans like me and you, John, and all these listeners and all the other people who like professional wrestling. It really irks me.
Well, Jeff, Ted Turner has been screwing up a lot, but maybe Jane Fonda has something to do with it. I don't know.
Huh? Oh, anyway, I'm just slowly but surely becoming pro WWF.
I never thought I'd hear the day that you said that.
Neither did I. It comes as a shock to myself. But, we gripe about all these WWF angles, the war angles and everything, but isn't that the job of, good publicity, bad publicity, it's all publicity. Isn't that the job to make us mad?
Well, the way they're doing it, adults like yourself and myself will watch WWF wrestling, and we'll see Jake Roberts in the now infamous scene where he and the Ultimate Warrior, he's buried up to his neck and he's bitten by a plastic snake. That is to appeal to children. And you and I are not children. We know a plastic snake when we see one. Vince is trying to throw in the razzmatazz special effects and all that flip-flop crap. Stuff. And it just ain't cutting it. If I want to watch Saturday morning cartoons, hey, I'll turn on Saturday morning cartoons and I'll watch them then. I want to see good, honest wrestling. Sure, you need character build-ups. Sure, you need charismatic athletes. But, to turn into a soap opera, that's just crossing the line way too much, Jeffro. Way too much.
All right. You spoke of Barry Windham winning out. Now the names of Arn Anderson wanting to go towards Titan. And in my opinion, Bobby Eaton will be one of the next to go there. You think about it, Eaton is getting screwed. He's getting the raw deal. Eaton, one of the top athletes in the country, and what is he doing? He's not doing a thing right now, and he's very unhappy from what I've heard.
Look, if Vince McMahon had any sense whatsoever, I know the man does, he would see that Bobby Eaton is wanting to get out of WCW. He would see Stan Lane and Jim Cornette floating around the independents. He would get these two men together and reform the Midnight Express, and he'd have one great tag team to compete with the other tag teams in the Federation. What do you think of that idea, Jeff?
I like to see the Rockers versus the Midnight Express.
Oh, that would be legend.
Oh, God. All right, Mr. Messinio there. We'll move on here. Like I said, we still have the contest going on. The 10 steps to a better promotion. Get those entries in. What would you do to make wrestling a better place? What could you do to make wrestling better? Anyway, the Clash of Champions is about to come on in about an hour and a half. It is the 5th of September. I will be bringing you up to date. John will be leaving since... something happened, John, involving your wife and yourself. Let's inform the fans about what. No details, just, the good news.
I have to change a tire on a car.
John, your wife is pregnant.
Oh, yeah, that. Yes, congratulations are in order to myself and to my lovely wife, Joanne. She is about 2 months pregnant. Hopefully it'll be a boy. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's move on to Jimmy Valiant back in the USWA, and I recently witnessed a
The new
match.
AIDS version, Jimmy Valiant.
Jimmy Valiant took on Leatherface in Evansville a few weeks back, and needless to say, it was sad. A guy that's done a lot for the sport. He can really work the crowd, but he's down to about 175, 180 pounds, and I wrote down some quotes from the fans. A guy sitting behind me said he can't even move, and another guy was saying, I will not come back to this. He said this isn't this. I won't even say what he said, but it isn't worth coming back to. And he just didn't look impressed at all. I'm sorry to say this to any Jimmy Valiant fans, but all he did was punch and an elbow.
He didn't do that well either.
Yeah, but you know it's bad when you got to inform people that kind of stuff. But something on the kind of positive side, Buddy Landel's Crusade. Yes, Buddy Landel is doing a thing similar to Tully Blanchard, but from what I heard, Buddy is just in it for the money. He claims that by going on a tour telling people how sleazy professional wrestling is and how he was sleeping with different women every night and doing cocaine and how he's turned his life around he thinks it's gonna make him money. And a couple nights I talked to somebody when he had a match with Austin Idol in Philadelphia, and Buddy left with a ring rat that night from a report. This was after he started his crusade.
Yes, Jeff, I've also heard reports that he will actually admit to the masses that he does indeed bleach his hair.
What? Okay.
You heard it right here.
All right. The rumor that was on last Cassette Wrestling News that Cactus Jack and Jim Ross had a confrontation was totally off base. Someone had talked to Cactus Jack, and they informed me that there was no confrontation between him and Jim Ross. I just wanted to clear that up. I don't know if you've seen any of the TBS shows, but Cactus Jack is really bringing him back alive, and his squash matches blow away the main events. Him doing the Jushin Riger dive onto the floor on his opponents is not too many people are crazy enough to try that. And I was watching Global yesterday. Cactus Jack went up to the second rope and missed with an elbow out on the floor. And then he went on to take a power bomb on the concrete on the back of his head from Terry Gordy. Is this man crazy or what?
I'd say most definitely yes.
All right. Let's move on here. On a recent episode of Rick D's, his late night show, I can't even remember what the heck it was called.
You actually watch that show?
No, I don't watch it. Somebody just told me about this, but yeah, Into the Night with Rick Dees. Jason Hervey was on, and Rick Dees was asking his guests what their favorite kind of fish was, and Jason Hervey simply replied, "My girlfriend, Missy." What a cocky little... I won't say it, John.
Well, Jeff, how are you using the word cocky in what context?
John,
Are you meaning in the word that obnoxious, or are you meaning in the way of a penis?
No,
Jeff,
John.
there are impressionable young listeners out there, and I think you should clear up your statement.
He was being...
obnoxious.
Yes, he was being obnoxious.
Okay.
Sort of like you are right now, John.
No, Jeff, I just don't want to offend anybody.
You're right.
Because I love you all.
What is the matter with you? I told you to tone it down, but what is wrong with you? What?
Let's continue with the show, shall we?
I guess. I don't know. But Mike Lano has conducted a piece or an interview with Dennis Carluzzo for Cassette Wrestling News, and we hope to have that next issue. Dennis Carluzzo was commenting that we give Joe Goodhart all the plugs, and we never mentioned Dennis Carluzzo.
If I may interject something right now, I have a question. Is this guy Carluzzo, is he by any chance Italian?
I would say so, the last name.
Okay.
Okay, and he is regarded as... him and Joe Goodhart are probably the two top independent promoters in the United States today. Both men get tremendous talent, and I think both men should co-promote. They've done it before, and right now I want to go to a report Okay, my producer, is telling me we're going to hold off on that report, and we'll get to some more news here. As most of you know or have read in the sheets, that Miss Texas, Georgia Brown, had her head shaved in a hair match. And I tell you, if there was a look-alike contest for Stymie of the Little Rascals, she'd be a shoe-in.
Jeff, that comment it's racially slurrious. You're making racial comments, Jeff.
I was making a reference.
Yes, you are. You're going to have the Negroes out there calling in, writing in, and it's going to be your butt this time, hippie boy, not mine.
John, I was just simply, it was a joke, taken out of context.
This is not the Little Rascals. This is Cassette Wrestling News. Can we be serious for 1 minute? Can we, Jeff?
Yeah, I guess we can.
All right.
Rumor has it that Steve Austin will be defeated for the television title by none other than Dustin Rhodes. Dusty pushing his son, maybe a little bit?
I say quite a bit. While Dustin is a genuine talent in his own right, he has no business being any type of world TV champion, or he's more of a regional type wrestler to begin with. And it's unfair to the other athletes that this nepotism is occurring. And for those of you who don't know what nepotism means, it's where you get ahead in the world by the help of your relatives.
What are you playing with over there, John?
What are you implying, Jeffrey?
I'm not implying nothing. You're dropping things on the floor, and it's disrupting the show.
No, you're disrupting your show, Jeff. Just go on with the news. I made my comment. You made your comment. Next item, please.
All right. Ric Flair signed his contract today, September the 5th, with Titan Sports. Ric Flair will be taking on Roddy Piper for a short time up until October.
A little bit of trivia. I was watching Superstars of Wrestling, and Roddy Piper had a confrontation with Bobby Heenan when Bobby Heenan was spouting off at the mouth about Piper, and he brought up the name Flair, and Piper, he used a quote that he hasn't used since the early 80s when he and Flair were locked into a classic feud over the U.S. heavyweight title in the Mid-Atlantic area, which the comment was, "I scare Flair." That's a piece of trivia for you trivia buffs. Any of you heard that comment before?
What do you mean by buff, John? You mean that in as a fanatic or as in nude?
I certainly don't mean it in that context as far as being nude.
Well, if you shut up, I'll shut up.
I know how you think, young man.
Anyway, Roddy Piper will be taking on Flair around the horn, and I'll just put it this way, that Roddy Piper may not come out ahead in this confrontation then.
Definitely not. Piper is injury-ridden, and Piper is way past his prime, although he is younger than Ric Flair, but as far as Piper the wrestler goes, he's far past his prime. And as far as his...
know?
Because I'm an expert in analysis. Yeah. As far as his announcing abilities go, he was much better in circa the Georgia area, as opposed to now, where he constantly is, he's Vince's right-hand man, basically.
What do you mean by
Not necessarily as good as Jesse.
What do you mean by right-hand man? Never mind.
If this was the John Seaton of old, I would make a sexual comment. But this is not the John Seaton of old. This is the John Seaton, the new. So I'll leave it at that, Jeffrey.
All right. And then, as it comes down to it, in October, Ric Flair will headline against Hulk Hogan on the weekends around the country. Sellouts galore. I'm willing to travel to see this match. But right now I want to go on to the Global Wrestling Federation. A lot of action going on. When you turn over and see the talents of Cactus Jack, Terry Gordy, Stan Lane, Jim Cornette, all these people on this show, it really makes you turn your head. And, now that we've got this super independent promotion, we're griping about it. We're griping about it. I feel it's high time that these small guys under 200 pounds get a chance to shine like the Lightning Kid. Lightning Kid is only 19 years old, and he's one of the most amazing athletes on the planet. And these guys, 175, 180 pounds, are getting their shot. And it just proves that it's not the size that counts. It's the ability.
That's right, Jeff. I have to agree with you on that comment. For too long now, for the past decade, really, for the past 5 years or so, we've been exposed to these muscle-bound, no talent, no happening, steroid puffed up looking boys, and they don't have the ability. All they do is get in the ring and look good. From there on, they're zilch. They're nothing. They're nada. And now we got these young guys like Cheetah Kid who really come along and they get the competitive fire going, Jeff. I really want to watch wrestling when these guys are in the ring. By gum.
Okay, John. Well, I wanna tell everyone how to subscribe to CWN on the first side. I know a lot of people call me and say, "What are the rates?" The rates are $16 for 6 issues, and we publish. What are you looking at?
I just want to tell you, when to tell them the address.
Okay. We publish irregularly, basically because I'm lazy and I have very little time, and I'm running low on cash. But we do try to publish twice a month, and the rates, as I said, $16 for 6 issues, and you can send that to Jeff
What's the
Osborne.
address?
Jeff Osborne, care of Cassette Wrestling News, 3420 New Harmony Road, Evansville, Indiana, 47720, or please feel free to call me anytime, 812-425-5470.
And for those of you who contributed to the MDA Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, Jerry Lewis, if you send in right now, I will send you an autographed picture of myself along with your subscription.
Oh boy!
Did you send in any money for MDA, Jeff?
No, but
did you watch it?
I was involved.
Was you watching wrestling?
I was involved somewhat with an MDA thing. There were 3 local bands playing out in New Harmony, and I was involved with that.
Well, my hats are off to you.
All right. What did you donate?
Yes, I donated $5.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
You just probably did that to hear your name on TV, though.
No, I did it out of the goodness of my heart. This is the new improved John Seaton.
Yeah,
my phone's ringing, Jeff.
All right, let me get that. John, right now, thanks for telling me my phone was ringing. I want to talk about the Meadowland show that took place a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
By far, the best match from the several reports that I have received was Cactus Jack and Sting. Of course, anytime you get Cactus Jack near a dang wrestling ring,
okay,
there's going to be a heck of a match. And they say that this stole the show, and everything else was garbage. And they took intermissions galore, and the actual card lasted an hour and 45 minutes.
I bet there were chants of refund.
There were chants of "We Want Flair" during the main event of with Lex Luger defending his title, and Lex simply did sort of a the middle finger motion with your arm, where you
a rude gesture, something I would never try to emulate.
Yeah. Anyway, he did that, and the fans that were chanting "We Want Flair" said that there was a look of just a furious look on Luger's face, like he was sort of jealous. He should be.
Lex Luger certainly is a great wrestler, but he is nowhere in the league of Ric Flair. I don't think there is anyone in the league of Ric Flair.
Not even yourself?
Well, I'm in another league altogether, Jeffrey.
Okay. They say that there were not very many people there, and the few people that I talked to say they are never going back to a Meadowland show. And
as long as WCW is promoting it, I don't see why.
Yeah, and I got a report. Their Philadelphia house gate was $9,200.
Pathetic.
Not even $10,000, which translates into about 700 people going to see a WCW show.
Did you figure that out on your pinkies and toes, or did you just use a calculator, Jeff?
I used a calculator. But it's terrible when 700 people go to see athletes like Wyndham, like Luger. It's sad.
It adds fuel to the fire, the rumor that Wyndham, hey, you may be called the Widowmaker, but go back and you'll make some money.
Yeah. Right now, John, I want to talk about something that will sure bring a smile to your face. And that is the reemergence of Coco Ware and Dutch Mantel on Memphis television.
Yes, Jeff. This is something I'm looking incredibly forward to. Dutch Mantel, one of my favorite hairy wrestlers of all time. Coco Ware, one of the greatest black wrestlers that ever put on a pair of wrestling shoes. Forget the fact that his win-loss record was something less to be, admired of in the WWF because he was buried there. You give Coco
wait a minute.
Ware.
He won the dark match at SummerSlam.
Well, was that a racial slur?
No,
the dark match?
No.
Was it because he's black?
John,
Jeff, just be quiet.
He won the dark match. He won the match that was not televised.
Better.
Okay, and he also he also was doing interviews on TV, so this makes it much better for him to get over in any of the independent circuits.
Well, Koko Ware is a legend in this era. Who will forget the time when he was in the First Family and he teamed with Bobby Eaton? They were a team to be feared. This was a team that took some awesome bumps, some awesome rule breaking, some awesome wrestling all together. They were a great team, and hey, I'd love to see Bobby Eaton back in the area of Koko. Wouldn't that be something?
John, you're going to make me cry if you keep reminiscing about the old days of Memphis and just think this was just 8 or 10 years ago.
I know. All the more sad.
But I'm really looking forward to Koko and Dutch.
Well, the only problem is, Jeff, that Koko is like on a vacation and he won't be here that long. But hopefully we'll get as much of him as we can. I'd like to see Koko in person because he's a heck of a wrestler. Got, as Lance would say, the best drop kick in pro wrestling. And Dutch Mantel is one of the classic brawlers from this area. And he's a true legend as well. And maybe, just maybe, they'll lock up against each other.
John, will you please? You're fidgeting. Do you mind? I know you can't cuss. I know I'm trying to restrict you, but gosh.
Jeff, I'm so excited about being on this program. I know my own line was I may masturbate, but I can't say that anymore.
John.
I just have to fidget. I may have to fidget.
All right. I understand it's time for you to make your way to go on, but are you ever going to, showed the last time we were supposed to tape this, show when we were supposed to go to wrestling. Do you think the incentive of Dutch Mantel and Koko Ware will get you to show up next Wednesday?
Most definitely. If those two legendary athletes are on the card, hey, John Seaton will be in attendance.
All right, John, I understand you have to go attend to a flat tire.
Yes, the little lady, well, actually, she'll be becoming a big lady pretty soon since she's pregnant. She has a split front tire, and I have to go attend to that.
All right. Well, are you going to be back next issue?
Definitely.
All right.
And I want to assure all the people out there who are offended in the past by myself and my slanderous speech that I will be toning it down a little bit more.
All right, I can already tell the difference, kind of. We'll see you next issue, John.
All right, dang it.
All right, wrestling fans, about out of time on the first side of CWN number 57. Going to ask you to turn this tape over. John Seaton has changed. I honestly cannot believe it. I wonder how long it'll last. But let's go ahead and turn the tape over to the other side.
Hit me with your first shot. Each month, a guest brings the very first album they ever bought, the one that started it all. Brian Trammell, the longtime producer of The Record Store, listens to it. Then they break it down track by track. From guilty pleasures to timeless classics, it's all about nostalgia, stories, and how that first shot of music shaped who they are today. Tune in for laughs, memories, and fresh takes on the albums that kicked off a lifelong love of music. The first album that hit you, track by track. Where your first record takes the stage. Rewinding to the music that started it all. Hit me with your first shot.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hey, I want to talk about one of our sponsors, Bear. B-A-R-E, period. That's right. Their tagline is Eat Better, Live Better. And I'm speaking from experience here. That's right. The better things you put in your body, the better you feel. These guys are the best meal prep company in Northeast Arkansas because, well, they prep all my meals, and they don't put any of those artificial flavorings or seasonings in their food. It's just the bare ingredients. You see what I did there? Here's how it works. You choose the meals you want in your desired pickup location from their easy-to-use website. Your meals are ready Monday morning and available for pickup based on the hours of the location. They have 7 locations right here in Jonesboro, 2 in Paragould and 1 in Brooklyn. Go to bear870.com and place your order today. So here's what I want you to do. Get 15% off with our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. That's 15% off and use our code STSPodClub. Trust Bear for your meal prep needs in Northeast Arkansas. Eat better, live better. Bear. Are you enjoying the episode? Well, Cash App us. That's right, $BTSTS. You don't have Cash App? Download it and get $5. That's right, $5. That's $BTSTS. $BTSTS. All right, folks, let's talk about something that can make everything feel a little smoother, a little better, and a whole lot more comfortable. If you're listening to STS Pod, you already know we believe in top-tier performance, and that doesn't stop when the mics go off. That's right. That's why we have been proudly sponsored for 7 years by SpunkLube.com. That's right, SpunkLube.com. Spunk Lube Hybrid is their best-selling for a reason. Spunk Lube Hybrid is a unique water-based silicone blend that looks and feels like your body's natural lubrication. Translation, you get that skin-to-skin sensation without the sticky mess or constant reapplication. Whether it's solo time or with a partner, or you're just upgrading your overall experience, Spunk Lube Hybrid has you covered. It's non-staining, made for sensitive skin, and cleans up easily because nobody wants extra work afterwards. Got toys, condoms, no problem. Spunk Lube Hybrid is fully compatible with sex toys, condoms, and more. And here's the good stuff. It's made in the USA, backed by 15 years of trust, and it ships discreetly as your business stays. Well, it stays your business. That's right. Right now, STS Pod listeners can get 10% off when you use the promo code STS Pod at checkout. That's STS Pod. STSPOD for 10% off Spunk Lube Hybrid, the best selling for a reason. Feel better, move better, enjoy more, because friction, well, it's for bad podcasts, not for real life.
Smoking weed, drinking beer, wrestling on TV, staying up late just watching WA. It's a work, it's a shoot, you don't know what.
Let's put on the brakes for just a couple minutes here. I want to talk about my old buddy, Sleazy E. That's right, Sleazy E, as always, he has his pages, his links. His links are at, well, they're on Link of All Links. They're on stspod.club. Go there. Hit his links. He's got an album. He does music, wrestling. He's the man. Wow. do me a favor. Go over there and hit
What
his
can I say?
link on my link of all links and go to all of his links. Love me some sleazy eating. Love my mama.
Smoking weed, drinking beer, wrestling on the TV. Staying in the play just watching.
As always, we're going to lead off the second side of Cassette Wrestling News with none other than Dr. Mike Lano. As I mentioned previously, on the other side, Mr. Lano will be sending us an interview with Dennis Carluzzo. We'll be patiently awaiting that, and I understand he also has a piece with Buddy Rogers, which is very interesting. Hope to get those interviews pretty soon, but right now, let's go to Dr. Mike Lano.
Dennis Carluzzo is another promoter in the whole tri-state area. I've always been pushing for he and Joel Goodhart to work together, but they're promoting separately, and Dennis Carluzzo is promoting all kinds of great shows as well as Joel Goodhart. He always gives me shit because I'm going to be coming out to Joel Goodhart's house, or Goodhart's show, and staying at Dennis Carluzzo's house. But he's a real sweet guy, too, and we want to give a big plug for Dennis Carluzzo, who says I never, ever plug him, especially after that 6-page Wrestling World piece I did on the Joel Goodhart Tri-State Wrestling Federation. Back to the other, Vince McMahon, the meeting Friday. I was amazed and impressed. We had almost, I guess, a 2 to 3 hour tour of the whole facility, basically the whole taping center, from floors 1 through 4. We got to see what's going on. On the 4th floor, it's funny, Fred Bassey has an office, as does almost everybody else. Vince, Linda, Pat Patterson, who talked to us for a while, J.J. Dillon, who seemed to pull all the people away from us when they started talking to us. And then Vince went down, I guess, on the 1st floor, actually the 2nd floor with us, and with Steve Planamenta and Basil there, carried on for almost 2 hours. Now, Dave Meltzer and Wade Keller, especially Wade Keller, dominated most of the conversation, not letting Vince really have his way or anything like that. But Vince pretty much answered most all the questions. You know, whether it's all truthful or not, we don't know, but he was open answering all kinds of questions, seemed open to finally having us work with him in some sort, having some of the guys on the radio shows and the TV show like the one I'll be doing soon. So, the 4th floor, very impressive. All of the Titan stuff was impressive. We'll have more. I'm going to wait and see what Wade and Dave, guys besides myself, but it was an honor, and I'll even speak for Dave and Wade. I'm sure they were honored to be there, and then they covered SummerSlam with that amazing Hart Hennig match. I don't know why they didn't just finish off Tolis the way they always do, but I guess it was nice not to humiliate him before he leaves. Real good. It's too bad they pulled the mic away from Stu Hart because he's just a little bit slow and hard of hearing, and because he wasn't fast enough, Lord Hayes ripped the microphone away, which seemed kind of silly, but it was a nicety. It would have even been nice to have Larry Hennig there sitting in the audience as well.
Okay, CWN listeners, that was Dr. Mike Lano reporting on the meeting, the secret so-called meeting with Vince McMahon and the Sheet people. And as you heard John Seaton mention on the other side, Vince McMahon will give us his WWF workers to the radio shows, and from what I understand, Classy Freddie Blassie, as most, or as some of you know, that John Arezzi was the fan club president for Freddie Blassie, and he would like to get Freddie on there, and that's going to come true. So what I wanted to know is all the rumors about the HIV positive thing, and well, I think Brian Trammell's got a little bit to say about that, and we're going to go to Brian right after we hear from...
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance is proud to announce Autumn Armageddon 2, Gory, Gory, Hallelujah, the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance Supercard on Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. The card is to be held at the Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. The most violent wrestling card in the history of professional wrestling will take place on Saturday, September 21st. The main event, a barbed wire steel cage match. Abdul the Butcher renews his feud against the original Sheik. The steel cage will be wrapped in barbed wire wire, not the ropes. The first time that's been done in a long time. The barbed wire steel cage match. Abdul the Butcher taking on the original Sheik. In a match we're calling The Devil Made Them Do It, Terry Funk goes up against Kevin Sullivan, and the big news here is that Kevin Sullivan will be accompanied to the ring by Fallen Angel. That's right, Fallen Angel renews her contact with Kevin Sullivan as Kevin leaves WCW and takes on Terry Funk in a first blood match. This match was set up at Summer Sizzler. Dirty Doug Gilbert comes back to Philadelphia to take on Bam Bam Bigelow. In a special mixed tag team hair versus hair match, we're calling Beauties versus the Beasts. The tag team of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Medusa Michelli. What a tag team that's going to be. Goes up against Cactus Jack and Luna Vachon. This match was signed prior to Cactus going to WCW. He is committed. He will be there. And the person who gets pinned loses their hair. Also, New Japan and the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance have forged a working relationship, and the first New Japan Pro Wrestling match will take place here on Saturday, September 21st. Owen Hart goes up against Takayuki Iizuka. In a TWA heavyweight title match, the current champion, J.T. Smith, goes up against number one challenger, Mad Dog D.C. Drake. And D.C. Drake will be accompanied to the ring by his manager, Woman. A Woman and Fallen Angel in the same building at the same time. A TWA tag team title match. The champions, the Dog Pound, Larry Winters and Johnny Hotbody, go up against the challengers, the Blackhearts. It's the same Blackhearts from Japan, the same Blackheart from the UWF, except they weren't really sure what to do with them. That's the Dog Pound versus the Blackhearts. And in the Battle Royal, of all Battle Royals, we're calling it Armageddon Last Blood. The wrestler is eliminated when he's busted open. The only wrestler to not bleed is the winner. That's Gory Gory Hallelujah in Philadelphia, Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m., Philadelphia Civic Center, Pennsylvania Hall. The doors open at 5:30 with an autograph session. And just think about it, on one card, in one building, on one evening, Abdul the Butcher, the original Sheik, Terry Funk, Kevin Sullivan, Doug Gilbert, Eddie Gilbert, Bam Bam Bigelow, Cactus Jack, Medusa Michelli, Luna Vachon, Owen Hart, Takayuki Iizuka, the Blackhearts, the Dog Pound, D.C. Drake, J.T. Smith, Fallen Angel, Woman. I can go on and on. The biggest and best independent wrestling card ever. The most violent wrestling card in the history of pro wrestling. Gory Gory Hallelujah, Autumn Armageddon 2. Saturday, September 21st, 7:30 p.m. People are flying in from California. Jeff Osborne's going to be there. People are flying in from Florida, Texas, Canada. Be there for Gory Gory Hallelujah. Tickets are $12, $15, and $25 and can be made available to you by dialing 215-745-8315. And if you tell me that you heard it on Osborne's Cassette Wrestling News, I'm going to charge you double. No, only kidding. We'll give you the best seats in the house. Just mention the name of Jeff Osborne. That's 215-745-8315 for Autumn Armageddon 2. Gory Gory Hallelujah.
Joel Goodhart, Tri-State Wrestling Federation, and I will have, what am I saying here? Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, I will have the best of CWN available up there, so I'm not going to take them to the show or anything. So if you see me there, like I said, look for the guy with the longest hair in the building. Legit, folks, legit. I choke John Seaton with it all the time, I'm telling you. Come up to me and say, hey, Jeff, I want a copy of Video Cassette Wrestling News at the discount price of just $10. $10 for a piece of, well, I guess, never mind. $10 for the 2-hour tape, which should be available by then. And also I will have the best of CWN Volume 1, which features Jared the King Lawler, Johnny Stewart, Chris Cruz, Billy Travis, Terry Garvin interviews, and many, many more. Dustin Rhodes on that tape, too. And I'm lost for words here. The best of CWN Volume 2 features 2 full-length interviews with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, some of the most wild stuff ever said. Although I do think Eddie may have went a little overboard on that Arezzi interview and everything, but I don't know. Both of those tapes will be available, 2 of the tapes for $5 or $3 each. So, hey, you're getting them half price. And I'm going to the poorhouse, but meanwhile, you're hearing Cassette Wrestling News. So, hey, that's the important thing. We got to all stick together through this, and I hope to see everyone in Philadelphia. I've confirmed meeting about 15 listeners up there, and we're going to have one hell of a time traveling up there with Reverend Mark and, well, trying to get Trammell to go up there, but we don't want to have too much fun. Yeah, and speaking of Brian Trammell, right here he is with his installment of BT Sleaze and the rundown of his independent show he recently promoted.
Fans and fiends, this is BT, otherwise known as Brian Trammell, otherwise known as the BT Express, for his monthly edition, or issue edition, of BT Sleaze. Ringside Riot Promotions, promoted by me, Brian Trammell, and JWK had their inaugural cars on 8/23 and 8/24/91. We got off to a real good start. Lost a few dollars, but it seemed like the guys like working with us and working for us, so that's all that matters. On the 8/23 car in Louisville, Mississippi, the BT Express won his second match by default over Jack Diamond. Jack Diamond did a no-show, so they awarded the match to BT Express. The next match has J.D. McKay pinning BT in about 5 seconds. McKay challenged BT after Diamond didn't show up. BT turned his back to reach for a chain. J.D. hit him. Loose back turn into a turnbuckle, went to BT Express and down for 1, 2, 3. BT didn't stop there, though. He stayed at ringside as the Zebra Kid, JDK's scheduled partner, jumped JD before the match, and he was managed by the BT Express. JDK went on to win that one by DQ when BT, Hot Rod Mike Murphy, and Rick Welch jumped in. JD was making a babyface comeback there with a figure 4 when all the heels jumped in and left JD ran. Other results on the card had Sergeant O'Reilly pinning Mike Murphy, Scott Armstrong pinning Sheik Akbar Jr., Lou Fabiano in a 30-minute 3-star bout. Central All-Star Tag Team Championship, The Storm, Rick Welch and Mike Murphy pinning O'Reilly and Buddy Marshall to win the belts. Primetime Jimmy Valentine and Mr. Nasty Ken Massey beat Golden Boy Terry Bronson and Akbar Jr. And the main event had Bullet and Scott Armstrong pinning Ken Wayne and Doug Gilbert when Doug did the job for the Bullet. Ken Wayne replaced Eddie Gilbert earlier this week due to Eddie's global starting date. 8/24/91 in Pontotoc, Mississippi had Terry Bronson over JWK, Ken Massey over Buddy Marshall, Mike Murphy over Ron Cavaricci, Jimmy Valentine over Akbar Jr. Central State Tag Teams changed hands again as O'Reilly and Buddy Marshall won back from Welch to Murphy. Eddie and Doug Gilbert then beat Terry Bronson and Sheik Akbar Jr. in a 30-minute match with Doug pinning Bronson. Armstrong's no-show due to a payoff mix-up, and in the main event, Battle Royal won by Eddie Gilbert. Now, I just thought I'd give you an update on Ringside Riot Promotions, but as you know, BT Sleaze always has some sleaze to tell you. Jeff Osborne mentioned last issue or issue before last about some WWF wrestlers having HIV positive. I know this for a fact. I got word from a very important source in the WWF and said that they did have HIV positive. But now they have HIV negative. Yes, they do. They have found a cure for HIV. Blue Kool-Aid. Yes, folks, it's blue Kool-Aid. This is a secret only known in the wrestling circles. And since we have such a secret business, we're not going to give the cure for AIDS to the rest of the world. This is BT signing off for BT Sleaze.
And I'm sure doctors are just sitting here listening to this tape with their mouths open right now. Yeah, right. Something to think about, though. Anyway, right now, before we go to a report, I want to give a message to, I don't know if he's a listener or not, but Freddie Fargo, pucker up. You folks will understand that why I'm saying this in January, but wait and see. Just get ready, Freddie. Okay, right now we're going to go to Michael Joy. I understand he's standing by with a report from the card that took place last month on the East Coast there with Dennis Carluzzo promoting one hell of a show. And this match, or of course this card, featured none other than Terry Funk and Bob Backlund on top in one heck of a match. And let's go to Michael Joy right now with a report.
This is Mike Joy reporting for Cassette Wrestling News. I was in attendance August 17th for Dennis Carluzzo's Rumble 2 show at Camden County College. Before I go into the action, I'd just like to say that before the card started, it was announced that local WWA wrestler Chief Thunder Mountain passed away the day before. Now, on a totally different note, I'd like to definitely applaud Dennis Carluzzo for his ring girls. Simply amazing. I don't know. Just a great show. The wrestling action, unbelievable. You know, well, some matches were unbelievable. Other ones were duds. We started out with the Battle Royal. This was won by the Spider. Second match, junior heavyweight title match. Jungle Jim McPherson beat Chi Gomez on a disqualification because Chris Candido interfered in the match. Third match of the evening, Misty Blue defeat Cat LaRue. Fourth match, Cactus Jack Manson carried some bum called Morgus the Maniac or something like that. This wasn't that bad because Cactus, he carried this guy. I like Cactus a lot. Cactus gave this guy some good chair shots outside the ring. He finished him off with double arm suplex into a DDT. After that was a six-man as Christy Edge Evans, the Spider, and Ray Odyssey defeated the Lords of Darkness and Bubba Monroe. The next match after that was a mixed tag team match, one of the best matches of the night, as Jim Cornette and Stan Lane took on Jerry the King Lawler and Dr. Mark Curtis. This Jim Cornette and Dr. Mark Curtis really worked their butts off here. They were the ones, they were in most of the match. Cornette at one point, incredible, he almost press slammed Dr. Mark Curtis. Cornette was taking bumps both in and outside of the ring. The hardest worker in this tag match was definitely Jim Cornette. At one point, Jerry Lawler pile drive Jim Cornette. Lawler tagged out to Dr. Mark Curtis, and Cornette then made a comeback. They're pretty cool. This finished up with Cornette pinning Dr. Mark Curtis. The next match was Larry Sharp's retirement match. Larry Sharp took on Bob Orton, and Orton's corner was Bulldog Brower. Sharp got the pin on Orton. After the match, Brower attacked Orton, and Larry Sharp made the save. Then we saw a pretty weird brawl between Bob Orton and Bulldog Brower that went into the crowd and back to the dressing room. Next match was Bob Backlund against Terry Funk. This match went, I didn't time it, but it seemed like it went about 25 minutes to a half hour. This was a really good match. Backlund, he looked like he just stepped out of a time machine. He looked like he hadn't aged or hasn't slowed down a bit. Terry Funk, for a man with a bad back, was taking bumps both in and out of the ring. This was an incredible match. It wasn't Funk brawling. This was Funk wrestling. I mean, this guy can do both, but he showed in this match definitely what a great, great wrestler he is. This was incredible. The finish had Funk had a chair. He was going after Backlund with the chair. Backlund ducked, then rolled Funk up for the pin with a bridge. Also, I'd like to note, before the match started, Japanese photographers were at ringside, and Funk was chasing them all over the building before this thing even started. Bob Backlund, just a class act, because after this thing was over, he stayed and was signing autographs and shaking hands and talking to all the fans. We left before he did. I mean, Backlund's definitely a class act. The only thing else I have to say about this card is it was great. I'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you very much, Michael Joy, for that report from Dennis Carluzzo's show. Now, come on, Dennis. We're giving you some time here. So, hey, you can't say we're not. All right now we're going to move on to Vicious Vince De Palma. It's been a while since we've heard from Vince De Palma, and I'm wondering where the Jersey Devil is. He's not sent in an opinion or commentary in a long, long time. I think the guy is dead. But, hey, we've got Vince De Palma right now, and let's go to him right now.
This is Vicious Vince, and like it or not, I am back. Let me start by saying I think it's great that the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is coming to the World Wrestling Federation. His long overdue encounter with Hulk Hogan looks like it's finally going to take place. Many people actually have good reason to watch the WWF once again. Why, it's almost actually getting exciting watching Titan. Putting in my own 2 cents worth, I think Flair's move to the WWF could not have come at a better time, for Flair and for the fans. Flair's act was stale in WCW, and going to the WWF will give him new blood, I feel. After all, who would Flair have wrestled had he remained champion in WCW? Lex Luger? We've seen that dozens of times. Sting? Same thing. Only a match with Barry Windham would have held anyone's interest. But even then, it could not have rivaled the showdown with Hogan. I, for one, am getting chills up and down my spine each time the Nature Boy's name is mentioned on WWF broadcasts. Flair's coming to the WWF almost rivals a Hogan move to another wrestling organization. Oh, by the way, it was good to see Titan acknowledging another organization, even though it wasn't by name. But I believe an exception was made for Ric Flair. Thank goodness they're not bringing him in as a cartoon character, although I don't believe Flair would have allowed it. And now I'd like to talk about some people in the wrestling industry, some of whom are on this tape, who really annoy me. Some of them have made comments about me, and now it's time to give back what I have received. Number 1 on my list is Brian, FS for Fat Slob Trammell. This jerk insulted me by saying I read my commentary. Well, fat stuff, at least I can read. You couldn't even put out a decent kayfabe sheet. Now you think you're a wrestling promoter? I challenge you to a hair versus hair match, but unfortunately you don't have any. Number 2 on my list is Chris the Complainer Cruz. Boy, Chris, you sure love to air your dirty laundry in public, don't you? First you wrote a letter to the Observer about John Seaton. Then you complain about Mark Madden and the Torch. I was going to write a nasty letter to Pro Wrestling Illustrated and Bill Apter about CWN, but I didn't want to upstage you. The third man on my hit list is Reverend Mark. Yes, Tammy, I do subscribe to the WWF magazine. If you think that's funny, I wouldn't laugh. You're still reading Fun with Dick and Jane. By the way, Rev, I know your real name and where you're from, so smarten up and stop the insults, or I'll pull a Roner and tell all. Number 4, Joel Goodhart. When is this guy going to wise up? Stop saying if you're a fan of the WWF, don't bother coming to our shows. We don't want you. Well, Joel, all I can say is I'm going to SummerSlam on August 26th, 2 days after I'm making this tape. And to you people out there listening, if you're a fan of the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, don't bother coming to Madison Square Garden. We don't want you. Number 5 on my hit list, Dr. Mike Lano. If anyone could ever figure out what the heck you're talking about, Dr. Mike, they should give that person the Nobel Prize. All I can say is, if you drill the guy's teeth like you talk and write, the steroid problem in wrestling would be secondary. And the final man on my list is John Foulmouth Seaton. John, please stop your cursing. This is a plea from me to you. You used to be great on CWN back in the old days, but now you've gotten to be a bore and annoying with your constant cursing. Please, John, you're ruining the whole tape. Enough is enough. You're totally out of control. Please stop and go back to the way you were. And this, my friend, is not a work, it's a shoot. And Jeff, goodbye for now, good wrestling, and please keep your hair off the streets of Evansville.
We are just about completely out of time on this issue of CWN. Right now, I want to give everyone the address again. I can't even talk. The address for CWN is myself, Jeff Osborne, 3420 New Harmony Road, Evansville, Indiana, 47720. And copies of Video Cassette Wrestling News will be available towards the end of September. And like I said, they will be available up in Philadelphia. I hope to meet all of you there. I want to briefly go over the Clash of Champions, which took place last night, the 5th of September. And you might have known it, Cactus Jack stole the show once again with an awesome array of bumps. I tell you, I said ouch twice. I'm being honest about this. Cactus, I was informed before the show started that Cactus Jack would not be in the Battle Royal, so I therefore took it that he would be doing a run-in during Sting's match. Not a bad Clash of Champions, not a good one. What can you say? Cactus Jack climbed up to the second rope while Sting was out on the floor. Cactus Jack with a flying elbow. And the guy, I wish I could put it in John Seaton's words, but I won't. But he's just basically going to kill himself one day. Then he does they bring out this box. Like, you can't really tell who's going to be in the box or anything. It's becoming a big stinking joke. But anyway, the box comes out. Sting is in the box. He jumps Cactus Jack, and this is out on the runway. He throws Cactus into the rope, backdrops Cactus Jack onto the runway. This is not in the ring. There was no give on the runway at all. Then he proceeds to throw Cactus Jack into the air with a hip toss. Cactus Jack flies. He rockets through the arena and lands on the floor from a Sting hip toss. And Sting also threw a drop kick on Cactus. It's just unbelievable stuff. Take my hats off to take my hat off to Cactus Jack, probably the performer of the night. And I'd say the best match, the most solid action-packed match, was Brad Badstreet Armstrong. Now some people were calling him Brad Street, I think, as he took on Brian Pillman. Pillman pinned him. Pillman will be the next junior heavyweight champion, which is, I don't know how to take that. It's good and bad for Brian Pillman. But it was a hot match. I'd say 3 stars plus on that. But as far as everything else went, it was just average and okay. And I expect to see Scott Steiner back at Halloween Havoc. That's from some sources there. But you never can tell. Now we're going to end this issue of Cassette Wrestling News. Please keep in mind our contest, the 10 ways to better professional wrestling or a professional wrestling promotion. Give us your suggestions, and the prize will be a videotape from my video collection, so keep that in mind. And right now, I'm going to say, as Vince De Palma would, for John Seaton and everyone else on CWN, goodbye and good wrestling.
The reviews are in, and all the critics say this record should be smashed. Waste of Space Records presents Reverend Mark and the Kayfabe Congregation. Rolling Stone magazine says, don't give this album to someone you love. Godfather of Soul James Brown says, wow! Manager Jim Cornette says, this record wasn't released, it escaped. Here's such timeless classics as We Didn't Start the Fire, It Was Jim Herd.
Terry Gordy, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard's out of their Steamboat the Funker too. If you have talent, he'll fire you. Jim Cornette and Stan Lane, they put Muda on a plane. Dr. Death and Chris Cruz, at least we still have pianos. It was Jim Herd, Jim Herd.
And Steroids to Heaven.
There's a Vince who likes guys with very big muscles, and he's giving them steroids to heaven. Oh, he's sure it will turn a quick buck or two, so he's giving them steroids to heaven. And he's giving them steroids to heaven. They inject and ingest for large arms and large chest, and they do this all just to please. Vince will roll in the dough, Pat and Renee also, but I hear they all now have a disease.
Plus 8 or 9 other forgettable tunes. Get your copy now. Send $9.99, today, and as a bonus, get Reverend Mark's tribute to the New Jersey Devil. Devil with a blue dress on. Operators are standing by.
Makes me wonder.
Attention wrestling fans, do you want to watch every WWE premium live event no matter where you are in the world? Well, I've got the ultimate tag team partner for you, Surfshark VPN. With Surfshark, you can unlock content from anywhere on the globe. What this means is no more block streams, no more restrictions, just wall-to-wall action. Imagine catching WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series live no matter what country you're in. And here's the best part. By using my affiliate link, which is tinyurl.com/ it's VPN STS Talk. You'll also score an exclusive huge savings plus an extra 3 months absolutely free. That's right, 3 bonus months of unlimited access, total online privacy, and the power to stream every WWE pay-per-view like a true champion. And don't get counted out. Hit the link. It is tinyurl.com/ it's VPN STS Talk. Go to that link and make sure you never miss a single second of the action again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step in the ring with pain relief. When back pain, neck pain, and stress tries to body slam you into the mat, there's only one tag team partner you can trust.
Vitality Chiropractic in Jonesboro and Newport, Arkansas. The champions of chiropractic care. With a dedicated team of professionals, they're not just adjusting spines, they're adjusting lives. Whether you're battling aches, pains, or just need to feel like a brand new you, Vitality Chiropractic has the moves to get you back on top of your game. Personalized care, effective treatments, and a commitment to your health and vitality.
You don't have to tap out to pain. Pick up the phone. Dial 870-523-2225. That is 870-523-2225, brother. And schedule your appointment today. Vitality Chiropractic serving Jonesboro and Newport. Step in the ring with pain and walk out a champion of health. Vitality Chiropractic, because your spine deserves the main event.
1, 2, 3.
Wrestling fans, are you ready? Every Friday night in Osceola, Arkansas, MCW, the legacy continues. Live, hard-hitting, family-friendly wrestling action every Friday night at the MCW Arena, located at 1098 West Kaiser. Doors open at 6:30 and the action starts at 8 p.m. sharp. Don't miss your chance to see the stars of MCW battling out in the ring, rivals, drama, and slam-packed action. Here's what I want you to do. If you have any questions, I want you to search Facebook for Osceola's Mid-Southern Championship Wrestling. All ticket information, how to get your ticket, what time the show starts, everything right there on Facebook. All tickets are on sale right now. Be there! All right, folks, let's talk about something that can make everything feel a little smoother, a little better, and a whole lot more comfortable. If you're listening to STS Pod, you already know we believe in top-tier performance, and that doesn't stop when the mics go off. That's right. That's why we have been proudly sponsored for 7 years by SpunkLube.com. That's right, SpunkLube.com. Spunk Lube Hybrid is their best-selling for a reason. Spunk Lube Hybrid is a unique water-based silicone blend that looks and feels like your body's natural lubrication. Translation, you get that skin-to-skin sensation without the sticky mess or constant reapplication. Whether it's solo time or with a partner, or you're just upgrading your overall experience, Spunk Lube Hybrid has you covered. It's non-staining, made for sensitive skin, and cleans up easily because nobody wants extra work afterwards. Got toys, condoms, no problem. Spunk Lube Hybrid is fully compatible with sex toys, condoms, and more. And here's the good stuff. It's made in the USA, backed by 15 years of trust, and it ships discreetly as your business stays. Well, it stays your business. That's right. Right now, STS Pod listeners can get 10% off when you use the promo code STS Pod at checkout. That's STS Pod. STSPOD for 10% off Spunk Lube Hybrid, the best selling for a reason. Feel better, move better, enjoy more, because friction, well, it's for bad podcasts, not for real life. This episode is also brought to you by Bear. Eat better, live better. These guys are the best meal prep company in Northeast Arkansas. So get 15% off with our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. That's 15% off. Use our code STSPodClub at bear870.com. Trust Bear for your meal prep needs in Northeast Arkansas. Eat better, live better. Bear. You want the best, you got the best. The best little wrestling podcast in the business. All episodes on www.stspod.club. Did you enjoy that episode? Cash App us at $BTSTS. If you've never downloaded the Cash App, download it today. You'll get a free, that's right, a free $5 for using the code $BTSTS. That's $BTSTS. Hey, thanks for joining us for another great episode of Shooting the Shiznut. Thank you for listening, and thank you to all our sponsors. Remember, you can go to stspod.club, link of all links, and get all our links. That's right, Instagram, Rumble, YouTube, Memphis Wrestling YouTube, Facebook, everything, and many, many more right there, including our sponsors. And remember, all episodes are at one place, and that's stspod.club. Now, how about our podcast roll call? Who's Right podcast with Doug and Anthony. Po' Boys podcast with my old buddy Jody B. P3 Radio with Josh and Richard. Gene Jackson has a trio of shows I listen to every week. It's Dangerous Conversations with Doug Gilbert, the Retro Wrestling Podcast Archives, and search the Retro Wrestling Review Show. It's a USWA podcast with Gene Jackson and Richard and Josh from P3 Radio. Hey guys, thanks again. And remember, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.